Welcome to this week's edition of the One Lane Road Podcast. I'm back from 1 week off. I'm back here with Lucas in the studio.
What's up, everybody? Hey, so you're back. You played the first annual Carpet Court Classic. I've called it everything but that. I called it a bunch of different stuff.
You jacked it all up.
I did. I couldn't help it. I was trying it. Did you dunk on anybody? I just got to know. I seen them goals down about 6'4". Did you dunk on anybody?
I got front rimmed on that one. I got rejected on the 6 foot rim, but
yeah.
There's one about 5.5.
Where's the trophy? Where's the trophy at?
They weren't ready in time.
They weren't ready.
They're going to mail it to us.
Yeah. Yeah. So how'd you do? Did you win?
Yeah. 2 out of, well, no. We played old guys versus new guys. And we got them the first game. And the second game, some dude hit a shot at the buzzer to win. And third game, we got smoked. It was old legs.
Yeah. So tell us about it. Was this, what'd you do? Play like old man women's basketball where you played half court? And
no, man, I wish.
Some of you played on one end, the rest of you played on the other end?
I wish. I'm a fan of half-court basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan of PlayStation basketball.
Yeah?
Really.
Yeah.
But, no, it's pretty good. I thought, man, you're crazier than hell if you think I'm going to get out there for – I thought we was playing one solid game. You know, one game.
Yeah. Get a good 15 minutes in.
But, hell, once you get out there, you miss playing ball, so you think you're loving it.
Yeah.
You're thinking, hell yeah, let's keep going. And
yeah.
You play a second and a third one, and then your knees
start giving out.
Then your knees quit and your ankles quit.
Well, how long were the games?
24 minutes.
No kid. 24 minutes.
4 6-minute, and we only had one sub on each team.
Ooh. Worked him to death.
I suck and wind about 4 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter. About 4 trips up and down the court.
Yeah.
So,
played full court.
That's stupid, ain't it? Who plays full court basketball?
Y'all know y'all are in your 30s, right?
Don't get paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but y'all had a game clock and
Jeremy brought that. It was official, like a referee with a whistle. He had a scoreboard. Hell, we had Gatorade.
You almost had to have an official of some sort if y'all had a jump ball at the beginning of the game.
We had one of the subs just throw it up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, man, it was a
good time though, huh?
We should have called Jeremy, let him give us a
breakdown. Yeah, I
had to go in there and throw my weight around.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, get down in the post and play a little bit.
It was fun though. I'd go back. It's kind of messed up to play on a carpet court, but once you're out there, you can't really tell that it's on carpet.
Yeah,
you can't really.
I bet you could sure tell when you hit the ground. Okay.
You think I dove on any damn loose balls?
Not a one of them. Huh?
No, I looked at them. I bent down.
Yeah.
The commentator said, "Oh, loose ball." I pointed them out to other people that looked like they would want
to jump on it.
Like Jeremy, he did.
Did he jump on one?
He ain't got no sense.
No.
Hey,
no.
Brad. Hey, Hey, we got a guest here.
He won't get on the microphone.
The studio. We're gonna get him on before this is over with. But my longtime best friend, Bradley Reed Craighead, has joined us, beard and all.
We're going to bring him over here on this microphone here in just a second. So he gave us a thumbs up. He gave us the producer Jace thumbs up.
Yeah, but you remember that time in high school you probably might have been graduated already. We were playing at Mount Juliet Christian, or one of those Christian schools, right? And Jeremy dove on a loose ball, and Mr. Cherry said, "Jeremy, get the ball." He said, "I can't. He's on my effing arm." And sorry, Jeremy, for telling that story. Obviously Jeremy's moved on and matured in his life, and big in church and stuff. But back then, he'd been known he'd drop one, and we was in a Christian school, and boy, you talking about a place getting silent real quick at the wrong time. Donnie said, "Daniel Hatcher, get him out." You already graduated.
Yeah,
it was funny, but yeah, Jeremy, we had a big time. Like he kept saying, "I'm glad you came, and He said, "Well, you pulling your weight? You hitting some shots?" I said, "I couldn't not hit a few shots after you dogged me for 30 minutes straight down here. I had to."
Well, how'd he do? Did he score all over you?
No, he didn't score all. We were on the same team, so we didn't talk trash. We were trying to help each other out.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's fun. It was I didn't come home I didn't end up in the hospital with, like passing out. I mean, it's tough.
Could Brandon look any more like Jeremy?
No.
I mean, even the young attitude there. I seen the picture with the hands out, the ball in the hand. It just reminded me of Jeremy through and through. Right there.
Just like him.
Like him. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a good time.
Well, when I was gone, you got to do
got to do an interview with old Thomas Cox, and next time you go up, I'm gonna try not to schedule an interview for the day that the Carpet Court Classics. I'm gonna go up there and at least spectate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was worth it, but that was kind of
a good interview for me. Fun
yeah.
one.
You come off just as knowledgeable as he did.
Well, I tried. That's something that I really get into, and that's when I have free time. I'll look up stuff like that. So that was one that was super interesting to me, and and I thought he and I had a pretty good rapport about it, and he was super knowledgeable, gave us some good tips on how to get back on track. He's somebody that was just into all the things that I was into. Starting a business. I love to talk about business, and then nutrition, fitness, and stuff like that. He's obviously doing a little bit more with it than I am, but
well, that's for now.
For now.
He just like I said, you're just as knowledgeable and passionate about it as he is. It's just he's just made that step so far.
Yeah, made that step.
Been able to make, but yeah, it's interesting, and probably best that I'd sit that one out because it was kind of just get out of your way and let you do your thing. I would have contributed something to it, But it was good to see you it just kind of happens that way when you missed the Mike Keith one that time, and I just kind of got to go balls to the wall.
Just wide open with it. And I would have been in the way on that one too, because I know as much about sports as you tell me before we start talking, so that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah,
so
my plus size frame don't know a damn thing about millfit.co.
.co, yeah. That's
Doing
right.
good things though. There's a lot of people, I know a lot of people like that post and that's it's a big thing in Cookville. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, he's huge in Cookville. And he had, which we talked about it. So I'm not going to go too much into it. But he had a real niche up there. That CrossFit community come in with Rich Froning up there, and so it needed something to do with nutrition. And also, there's a lot of people out there right now that's doing meal prep. So that's a big thing. So he had a market in a place that didn't have that. So he hit another niche there, and then with his new salad bar and everything that he's put in, salads and more closed down, and so he come over and got into that. So I'm not saying he's a lucky guy, but he knows he's got some good sight out ahead of him because he can see those things coming. He's jumping right on top of them, not letting it sit there.
Yeah, I don't always agree with everything my wife says and posts, and she posted a thing on Facebook yesterday. It's pretty daggone funny. She put this would be me meal prepping, and it was like 7 containers of pepperoni pizza. That's I don't get it. That meal prepping, man, that's some dedication.
You got to do that too. You can't go out here and be eating McDonald's and Wendy's and Taco Bell and try to get fit. It just ain't gonna work. You can knock a little bit of it in the head by exercising really hard, like he was talking about, getting your heart rate up every day. But boy, if your diet ain't on point, you ain't gonna see the results that you're really looking for. Just ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna do it. Well, we got a good guest coming on tonight.
I remember when I could eat Jim Beam and chicken nuggets and still not be as fat as I am today. That was a supper for me, Jim Beam and chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
And I look better then than I did now, and I was fat then, but I'm fat now.
Yeah, but you was running like crazy and working out all the time.
Yeah,
too.
Running from Clay County to Cookville, back and forth to hang out with Brad Craighead and AJ.
Yeah, but just when you're just doing that once a day, it ain't too bad. But the
Jim Beam and chicken nuggets. You ever reckon that to anybody?
Once a day. If you ain't eating anything else all day.
I wasn't drinking Jim Beam every day.
No.
I wasn't Hank Williams Jr. in 74 or nothing, But
no, I mean at night. Every other day, Bradley said.
We had.
You sure you don't want to get on this other mic?
He's going to. I don't give a damn
we'll get him on there here.
What he says. Hey, but we're fixing to call him here in just a minute. We got a good guest. His name's Chris Stalcup. He comes from the band Chris Stalcup in the Grange.
Yeah, band out of Atlanta, Georgia. They're described as Georgia Americana and country rock. And Americana really describes them pretty well, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But they got a completely different sound than what's on the radio for sure, and even a different sound than some of these other artists that we're going to mention and talk about whenever we're in the middle of the interview. Yeah,
just a guy I'd kind of discovered online a while back, and actually thought about tweeting him about 2 months ago.
Yeah,
never really got around to it. So I thought, man, I'll reach out to him. One thing that we've really been doing, we've got some real cool guests coming up.
Oh, we've got some big guests lined up, and this right here just kind of starts it off, man. And
kind of kick starts it, and I'm really excited. I posted that on Facebook today, and I just don't want to jinx it because, when Julie Roberts said she'd come on, and that's kind of not happened yet. And Waylon Jennings' son, Terry, he's been negotiating with me for months. Since June or July, and he keeps saying, oh, when is it? And I'm like, man, are we ever going to
get him on here?
I already forgot about my notes I took about his book. I sat down and we were talking on Twitter again the other day. So maybe those still happen eventually. But, man, we've got about I know I can think 5 right now off the top of my head that just musically things that are going to come. Hopefully, the next probably 2 months.
Yeah.
So this is the first kickoff. We're gonna call up Chris and get him on the phone, and hope you guys enjoy it.
Hello.
Hey, Chris, it's Dustin, One Lane Road Podcast.
Hey. How are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm good. Just about to eat me some dinner. You caught me at a good time.
Oh, well, hey, this is my partner, Lucas.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Good. Lucas, how are you, buddy?
Good. Today's guest is Atlanta-based country musician Chris Stalcup. Chris recently released his 3rd album, Downhearted Fools, with his band The Grange. Chris, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm glad we worked out that last name. When I talked to you earlier, you said that people had all sorts of problems with Stalcup, right?
Yeah. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like it's that difficult, but it takes all kinds on it.
Yeah, it sure does.
I told him, Lucas, I said, it's Stalcup or Stalcup, man. It's kind of hard to mess that up.
Yeah,
but
it's one of two, right? Well, so I'm assuming you're not out on the road right now. You're at home in Georgia?
I am at home, and it's we got a little layer of ice and sleet and a little bit of snow here, as a matter of fact. I'm about 30 miles north of Atlanta. So,
yeah, I seen
my dog out here. This is her first time seeing snow, so she's kind of freaking out a little bit.
Right.
Got that Stone Mountain, Georgia address here on the phone. That's Jake the Snake Roberts territory. You don't know anything about that, do you?
Oh, buddy, I tell you what, you're funny, Jake the Snake connection. The guy that shoots all my videos, his name is Nathan Mowry, and he actually has done a lot of work with Jake the Snake through Diamond Dallas Page's DDP Yoga over there.
Yeah.
In fact, they did a documentary on him not too long ago. And
the Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that on.
So he did all that.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Huh, that DDP Yoga, man, that's really something that's pervasive in a lot of different conversations we've had on this podcast. That's pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it really is.
I see it everywhere. Yeah, and I'm so happy that, when I see something like that, man, I'm so happy to see people like taking control and getting in good shape and helping themselves. And it's just been interesting for me that I've kind of crossed paths with those guys, and I haven't been to the shop or anything, but I'm definitely going to go check it out because it seems like they're doing some awesome things, and I hear nothing but great things about all the people involved. So
really,
how can you not want to meet some of those guys?
Oh, yeah. It really saved Scott Hall, who was raised a Ramon, and obviously Jake the Snake. There's been other documentaries that wasn't so flattering of him, and really saved his life. But it was just kind of funny that picked up because when you called me earlier, when you were calling me back, it said Stone Mountain, Georgia, and being a wrestling nerd since age 0. I just kind of that just kind of hit me. So,
man, I tell you what, my brother 1 year he bought me tickets for my birthday to go to those big old matches down at the Army. Oh my God, that was something else, man. Being in one of those things in person is completely different. But I'm with you, man. I grew up on TV. We'd lay there in front of the TV and watch that stuff, and then just argue with my grandmother on if it was fake or not all night long.
Oh yeah.
There's two different kinds of people in the world as far as like outlandish people. Everybody makes fun of the people of Walmart. You can go to Walmart and you get that website, People of Walmart. You go to a wrestling show and you really reevaluate your life decisions. You're like, man, am I after you see some of the cats that's at wrestling, you're like, holy crap, what am I doing here?
Absolutely.
But hey man, tell us a little bit about your about the music, man. Well, you're on your 3rd record. We looked up your research, man. You were in marketing. Tell us how you kind of go from a career in marketing to just full-fledged musician.
Yeah. Well, I started out of school. I went to college, for illustration. Got out, started doing some graphic design work, and just kind of stayed in that industry for a long time. And I kind of was able to get to a place where I was able to step away, and I still have to work some, but I do it on my own, terms, kind of a freelance contract basis. And so I did that so that I could focus on music and work on this record specifically. My last record, Dixie Electric Company, I put out while I was still working full time, and I really wanted to go tour and support it, and I couldn't. Just didn't, couldn't get that much time away, and all of the things it took to really promote it right. I just didn't have the time in the day to do it. So I thought, well, man, I want to do this next record. It's coming. I feel it. I was like, it just feels like a good time, and it's really one of those things where it's now or never. The way it approached itself to me, and I said, well, all right, I'm going to get out of this and go do this thing full time. And fortunately, I was able to do a little work here and there to pay the bills, because this sure as hell don't do it. But at the same time, it afforded me the opportunity to, at my whim, go hit the road and plan tours and book with my guys and get out there and, try to spread the gospel about what we're doing. And, there's no way I could have done it with any kind of a regular job, So here I am on a Friday night by myself, hanging out.
Well, what type of advertising did you actually do? Was it music based or was it something else?
No, it was just straight down the middle. I mean, we did all kinds of clients. I mean, I did mostly digital advertising, so I kind of started out doing websites and digital ads and banners, and then campaigns from there. So worked with variety of clients, a lot of the top dudes that worked at agencies, and it's. I thought that was the be all end all, and I always played music on my own, and had a little band that would get together and rehearse and go play a show every once in a while locally. But and put out a great record in 2010 that got a lot of attention, and that's really what set me kind of down this path.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but
you've been pretty prolific too for such kind of a short period of time that you've been putting out albums. 2010, then 2014, 2016. That's really a record every couple years there. So you hit it and just kept running with it, right?
Yeah, man, and it's interesting. That 2010 record, I put it out, and it was one of those things that kind of really broke the band. Unfortunately, we all had ambitions to do stuff, but it was one of those where you got 5 people putting in opinions and one person putting in the effort for the most part, to really try to get it out there. And, it was very frustrating. So, a lot of expectations just weren't meeting up. And so the band decided they wanted to take a break and just lay low for a little while. And I was like, man, I'm cooking on writing songs right now. And I was writing a bunch of the sad, slower songs that ended up on both of my last 2 records. And they just did not like playing those. Like, if you'd listened to my record in 2010, Alton Rising, my band Chase 56, we just kind of sloppy rock and roll, country rock kind of thing. And, as much as I love doing that too, I felt like I was writing better songs, and they needed more nuance, and they needed people that really wanted to play those songs. So, I knew some dudes in town that were great musicians. I called them up and took them to the studio with me, shared my songs with them, and man, they brought them to life better than anything I could have ever imagined.
Your music's been described as, how was it?
Georgia Americana.
I mean, with rock and roll influence, and you can definitely hear the rock and roll influence on the songs that I've heard. And so, who was your musical influences growing up? I mean, Georgia, there's a wide bevy of music down that way. Who were some of your favorites listening to, and kind of got you inspired to do this?
Man, I'm kind of a child of the 70s a little bit, at least the music period. It was what was playing on the stereo when mom was cleaning the house on a Saturday afternoon, So, I mean, there's Fleetwood Mac, Leonard Skinner, Tom Petty, Bad Company, all that kind of stuff really shaped what I was listening to younger. And then as I got older and started really seeking out what I was digging, I'm into guys like we talked about earlier, like Chris Knight, bands like Lucero. Those probably stay on my playlist more than anything, And then of course I listen to my buddies. I've made so many good musician friends these last few years. Guys like Justin Wells and Matt Woods that are out there and just writing, making real awesome music. And I love to listen to what they do as much as I do anything else, and I wish more people would too. You know.
Yeah, we had Wells on. Wells is a fantastic musician. He's doing the kind of grassroots things, but boy, he's a great songwriter too.
Yeah, he is.
And
I don't want to plug him for saying that song here, The Dogs.
Isn't that the best song?
I said, man, I'm going to put that on my next record.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, buddy.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. That was actually the 2016 Saving Country Music Song of the Year this year. So.
Yeah. Well deserved too, man. That damn good song.
That one line he's got in there, if there's 12 that God invited, we're 13, man, that speaks volumes about a lot of things. Getting so close and being almost there and just not getting there, man. That's just hits home real hard sometimes.
I'll tell you what, man, and that's kind of what you go through with this journey every day. There's excitements and letdowns just about every day, and then sometimes at the end of the day, you just go there, you sit back and wonder, like, why am I doing this again? And you get all excited again, and you go right back to it. So
yeah.
Kind of ironic, though, that you had the falling out with your band, your original band, and, after all the years he put in with Fifth on the Floor, then kind of had the falling out, and he's doing his own thing. And really the best songs that both of you guys have is the heartache songs and the ones where you pour your heart out, and it's not all the, the flashy stuff that's in country music now. It's, it's the real stuff that people can relate to that, usually ends up being the best tracks on the album.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. Thank you.
Yeah, so it wasn't on this one. It was on your last record, but Pawn Shop, you really talk a lot about a lot of heartbreak in there that's really personal, pretty personal song. It was a really good song. That stuff doesn't come whenever you're out here and you're on pop country radio and somebody else is writing your music for you. That's just stuff you get from living it.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing was, man, I was, coming out of that Chase 56 Altoona Rising record, I was writing, it was a drinking record,
Yeah.
And it had some heartbreak in it, but it was more about just not quite doing the best at what you could do in life, and then doing the repercussions of it. Whereas, as I started writing these records, I got sober, for one, which it was really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And in regards to my songwriting, I was, like I said, I really wanted to explore a bunch of the slower songs, whether they were sad or not. And then I also had a bunch of songs that were, kind of coming out of me that were a little more rock and roll, and that had, deep, heartfelt meanings to them too. So when Pawn Shop came to me, I was like, man, I was just at a point where I was like, I'm trying to write a sad song, and I don't want to write a blistering rock and roll song. I just want to write a feel-good song. Right. And then I wrote a feel-good song about broken-hearted stuff. And I was like, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah. But I love that because I've never really written a blues kind of based song before that I felt was any good. And I thought, oh, man, I actually came up with it. I feel worthwhile doing it.
Yeah.
Man, the band I got to play this stuff, they knock it out of the park every time, but they just killed it on that one,
Yeah.
I got a serious question. There's all kinds of young guys down in Georgia, and I won't name any names just so we won't put you on the spot. But there's a ton of pretty boy country singers from Georgia. I want to know, Chris, why in the hell ain't you singing about tan lines and tailgates and Yeti coolers and taking a girl out on the back road and doing promiscuous things with her?
Oh man, oh buddy, I could talk all night long about that stuff.
Yeah, we could too.
Yeah,
it really saddens me more than anything because it means that there's a market for it, and there's a bunch of people out there that listen to it. And I applaud anybody who loves what they're doing, is making a living at it, and if that makes them happy, that's great. There's just no way I could sleep at night. Knowing that that's what I was doing. It's kind of a, sell your soul to the devil kind of move, if you ask me. And I just, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've tried to live authentic as long as I could, and this is just who I am. I ain't pretty, so.
Well, man, obviously.
Somebody described me as having a beautifully ugly voice. I thought, I like that. That's quite fitting.
Well, man, I like the rough sound. Like, and our buddy Brad sitting here with us, and we let him listen to a clip or two earlier before you came on, and he's like, "Oh man, I like it. I like something different." That's got that rough sound to it, and obviously that's a compliment because, I mean, and it is a shame these guys sell out, and as well as I do, they can't love what they're doing as much as some of them may be douches like that and like the stuff they sing, but and people are going to drive all over the country at CMA Fest this year and listen to the same 5 songs basically, because there's a couple of those guys that I can't differentiate their songs because they all sound alike. Whereas, and it's kind of bittersweet for me because my favorite musicians are the guys you can go to small smoky bars in Nashville for $15 and watch them pour their heart and soul, and I'm standing 10 feet in front of them getting to do it, And I'd like to see those guys get the success, but it's also nice for me as a fan to see you guys in that environment.
Yeah, and I think that's the double-edged sword. I mean, you take, like Justin's song, you get so close sometimes,
yeah.
And then you never really get to fully realize what you think that success is. But then sometimes you have to sit back and say, well, what is success for me in this effort that I'm doing? And I call it my musical journey. And I'm doing this, and I don't have any expectations other than I want to make great art that I'm proud of, that I can sleep, go to sleep at night and know that I did the best I could do with. And then, if it moves somebody else, then that to me is the success behind it. It'd be great, man. And I'd love to play to sold out places, know that I was making enough money off of this effort to pay my bills, but it doesn't at this point. I spend more money pursuing it than I do making, but at the same time, like, I can't have it any other way. It's fairly addictive in a way,
Yeah.
I have to keep writing songs and I have to keep making records, and I'm like, well, can't I be happy writing songs and singing them to myself in my living room? I'm like, man, it just doesn't have the same power as standing there sometimes and knowing that you're affecting someone, and then in a live environment, and then for the record making it's like you get to fully realize this song, bring it to life in the best form that you think it can be before you present it to somebody. There's power in that, man.
Yeah, and I was listening to your album earlier, and I was trying to tell my wife about who we were going to talk to tonight, and she was asking me what the sound was, and I couldn't really come up with a good word for it because it's not traditional country as in what you would just turn on and hear. And then I got to looking at your website, and it said Americana, and that's really the best way to describe it, isn't it? It's a completely different sound. It's a sound all your own. It's neat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Americana has kind of become a catch-all lately for a lot of things, but Stapleton, I think, won the Americana Awards or something like that, and Isbell's, came from an Americana realm, and we all kind of get to use that title a little bit, but it is a bit of a catch-all. It's rock, it's country, it's it's folk influence.
Yeah.
There's so much there that it just rides the line, and I love the fact that it's almost, it doesn't really fit into any particular genre.
Yeah.
To me, that means I'm challenging myself to some degree in art. There's dudes that are out there that are far further out in left field than I am, for sure, in the same genre, if you will. But this is where I'm comfortable playing and what I'm creating, and creating my little legacy I'm trying to leave behind, I guess, if you will. It's a lot like painting for me.
It's
I get to express myself no matter how I want to, and then it's up to the other side of the fence for them to interpret it how they want. And
beautiful.
There's a nice marriage in where that line meets.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to put it.
It's kind of funny the way Lucas led you in there, and then you naming their names. The quote on top of your website, it says, "In a just world, Stalcup's name should be included amongst the new breed of artists, including Isbell, Simpson, and Stapleton, who are marrying tradition and truth." And that's from Eric Rich. Is his name Rich? From Pop Matters.
Yeah, Eric Rich over at Pop Matters, man. That was one of the first pieces of press we got on this record, and I was so nervous. This is the first time I ever did a PR campaign on a record, and I was real nervous about it going out there, because I kind of felt like a bit of a sellout in my own regard by hiring a PR firm to push it for me. 'Cause, this whole thing's organic, and it just feels like you're trying to play in that other space a little bit you mentioned earlier. But so we got it out there, and when Eric jumped on it, it was one of the first reviews that came back, and I was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
Like, Okay, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah,
I love all those guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, and
I mean, I've been watching Isbell for years, and I go to his shows, and I of course love his music, and then both Stapleton and Simpson too. Man, those guys are just they're monsters. They're amazing at what they do, and to be even put to have my name in that same arena is just unbelievable. To me, I never thought that would happen.
Listening through your songs, I kind of get that Stapleton feel in your writing, but listening to the sound, what I kind of get is a feel for the 4th of July by Shooter Jennings, and really 4th of July in general. That feeling you get on July 4th of just happiness and wanting to drive across the country and just being in America. That's kind of the feeling that I get whenever I'm listening to it.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate it. I'm a Shooter fan. And I love that song in particular, man. I'm here to come on. I'm like, man, this song just makes me want to drive.
Yeah, man, just drive across country.
Up and we played. K56 played a couple shows with Shooter, man, and those were a lot of fun. And he's a cool dude, and I've certainly got to meet a bunch of his buddies lately through these efforts, and they're all nice folks. I'm digging what he's doing, so. I hope he keeps putting out music like that, and I'd love to be in that same arena, man. That sounds cool.
You know what's funny about Shooter, and I've quoted this a bunch of times on the show, but I hung out with him a couple years ago, about a year and a half ago at the in Maryville, and I told him, I said, I really respect what you do. I said, you're all over the place. I said, you're not trying to ride your daddy's coattails. I said, your first 3 albums were just was some solid country. I said, then you put out, the Black Ribbons album, and I said, you went kind of off. I said, you threw me off there for a little bit. And I said, I don't know what the hell you were doing. And then he said, you think that's bad? He said, Manson's on my next album. And that was the and that was the Countach album, of course, of this year. So he does whatever the hell he wants. And you guys referencing 4th of July, it frustrates me as just a diehard Shooter Jennings fan that it seems like that's the only time he's referenced among the national media or musically is, he's got that one big moment on 4th of July because, it's one of my friends even put it on Facebook. He's like, oh, shit, I missed July 5th. I missed 4th of July yesterday, the one day of the year Shooter Jennings is famous. And I'm like, oh, man, come on. Pissed me off. I didn't even comment. Went on. But so you got...
and that kind of goes back to the overall problem, part of the problem. I mean, I don't like to talk about the problem, but, so many times people get hung up on one thing or one aspect of an artist, and then they want to keep them there, and no artist wants to do that. No artist wants to be pigeonholed and held back. That's why we're doing what we're doing, is so that we can constantly challenge ourselves and strive to reach new heights in what we're anticipating doing. That's the past, man, and as much as everybody loves those songs, and even the artists themselves loves those songs, like they get tiring at times to play even. So it's like, once you birth it into the world, it's got to have its own lifespan, of course, but then they do sort of, the parent of that song has to grow up, and you sometimes leave a little bit of that behind, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with progress as an artist.
Imagine how Skinner felt here in Freebird for the last 40 years.
Dude, I tell you what, man. If all them dudes were still around today, I bet they'd be sick of themselves. But speaking of Skinner, man, you asked me my musical influence. Like, I go back and listen to some of the stuff, and those guys are just unbelievable. And all those guys, Dwayne Allman, like,
yep.
The stuff he achieved as a musician in his very short life, it's mind-boggling to think of how good those dudes were and what they were doing at a time when they were really carving a trail. There's not that many trails left to be carved out here these days. Everybody's explored about every style of music that there is that could be made almost, that's halfway listenable. And, so at the end of the day, you listen to the music, and it's all about the song and story. And if you're not telling a good story, like one that people can get behind, then you're just making more noise, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the thing about Skinner and some of those other guys is how young they were whenever they were doing that stuff, too. That's kind of crazy to me, is how much life they lived so young.
And they wrote just good songs. Sometimes I give myself a hard time because I seem to always write a bunch of heartbreak stuff. And, every once in a while I'll reach out and try to do something that, I'll challenge myself not to write one. I'll end up with Ogeechee River, which still ends up coming back to being about some sort of relationship, But,
Yeah.
You listen to some of those obscure, Skinner songs like "Am I Losing" and "Four Walls of Rafe" or some of that stuff, man. It's just like, damn, how did that hit them at that young age?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's intense.
Well, tell us about your album, Downhearted Fools, which is available on iTunes and I guess anywhere music's available. It's a 10-song album. What is some of your favorites? Just give us a rundown of the track list, and if you want to, just a story on the songs or however you want to do it.
Man, the interesting thing about this record is I had a really hard time coming up with a track list. I have a hard time with every record to come up with a track list because you can do it so many different ways. But first off, I like it to be a journey. I want it to start off strong, get you in it, and then bring you up, and then bring it back down, and then bring it back up and finish strong. So I've kind of done that on most of my records. Kind of a bit of a roller coaster there. But this record, if I sit back and say what's my favorite song, I have some that I think are probably my favorites on certain days, and then there's some that are my favorites on the other days.
Right.
I really like them all. It is hard to say that I've got an absolute favorite. There are a few standouts for me. My favorite song on this record, if I really had to be put to it, is probably "Burning Up These Highways." But it's it's a real slow song. It takes a lot of investment to sit and listen to unless you're just in that mood, and that's about where I stay usually. And then I'll ride that mood long enough where I'm pissed off at something, and I got to go write a song like "Downhearted Fools,"
Yeah.
And it just takes, it's that yin and yang balance for me. It's riding an emotional roller coaster all the time. That's how I kind of end up writing that stuff. So, putting this record together, about half of these songs came to life summer before last, as we were starting to get out and make, some progress on touring and hitting the Southeast. And these songs honestly just kind of started coming to me like they do, for most people, I guess, at times. But I was actually sitting on the Ogeechee River one afternoon and said, I'm going to write a song about this moment right here.
Yeah.
And that never happens for me in that way. And I surprised myself. I said, holy crap, I just came up with something that I actually like about this kind of an environment and experience.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick, man. It's hard to say. I like it being a journey. I like them all, even the last song on this record, "However You Want Me." That song had 2 chords, and my guitar player was like, "Man, come on,
Yeah, give me more than that."
We got to go to the 5 sometime. Like, we got to have a resolve here. So we put a 3rd chord for one measure in there. But it goes back to that thing that for me, when I'm writing a song, I don't want to put restrictions around what I'm doing. And if it comes out that I feel like I can tell the story in 2 chords and ping pong back and forth for 7.5 minutes and still keep my own interest, then I feel like I can keep someone else's interest with it. So,
Well, that's exactly right. If you don't like what you're doing, nobody else is going to.
Yeah, and I think it shows on all these songs, like "You My First Love" is a song, another real slow one. I've been noodling around on this thing, 2 years almost to the day. It was actually 2 years to the day that it released. The funny story about this is 2 years. So the record came out on September 16th of 2016. So September 16th of 2014, I wrote that song for my ex girlfriend. We're still buddies. We talk every once in a while, and I just we talked that day for some reason. I think I called to tell her happy birthday. And I got off the phone and I thought, man, I'm gonna write a song for her birthday. Now it seems like it's a little bit of a heart wrenching song, but it's really more of a testament of the time we got to spend together, and then how great I think a person that she is. So I wrote that day recorded on my iPhone, sent it to her, and then worked it up over the last couple of years, and then going into this record. This record to me was a kind of a purge, and I was like, I've got these songs that are laying around that have been sort of very inspiring for me as a songwriter, and it really led to all the other ones that I like. And I want to get them out there and get them into the world. And that's been a new approach with this record in general. Is if I like it enough, I'm not gonna sit back and deliberate on it too much and go, well, I've got 20 songs. I need to cut down to 10. If I got 20 songs, I'm gonna put a 20-song record out or a double album or whatever the case is. I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna create an amount of material and put it out. Create an amount of material and put it out. Just keep putting stuff out until I don't have anything else left to say. So this year it's going to be interesting. I bought a little bit of gear at the end of last year. We recorded a Christmas song with it.
Called what?
You've heard it. It's called "I Hate Christmas." It's a downhearted love song about Christmas time, for us lonely dudes. It's kind of a joke between my bass player now, because we had several guys like yourself, podcasts and blogs. They're like, hey, man, y'all got a Christmas song we can put out? I was like, man, I don't, I wish I did, just because I'd love to have one, but I never had the inclination to write one. So we sat there, and Phil said, man, you got to call it "I Hate Christmas." I was like, all right, okay. So I started with that, and I just wrote a song around it, and I was like, well, damn, this really fits kind of like the extension of this whole last record we made together. So we recorded that here in my living room, man, and we're going to do more of those this year. I'm going to just focus on little packages and little moods and events and times, and say, all right, man, here's 2 songs, or here's 3 or 5, or whatever the case may be, as opposed to making another full-length record immediately. So my next steps are just going to be a big purging this year, because I've got some songs that are laying around that I like, that I may or may not feel like were, something I wanted to have on a cohesive album. And that's what I look at. You asked me about the album. I'm kind of getting back full circle to that initial question, is like, whenever I have a group of songs, like, I want them to work together. I got a ton of songs laying around that won't work, or at least to me, they won't work as well as the ones I put together for that. And that's kind of about the best way I can describe about how it goes.
Yeah, but I want to jump back to one of the songs on Downhearted Fools, is Pete and Clyde, man. Can you tell us a little bit about Pete and Clyde? I know you wrote that for your grandpas, man, and that was just a neat song and a really interesting way to do that song, talk singing through a big portion of it. That was real neat.
By the way, your talk singing beats the hell out of Sam Hunt's talk singing. Thank God.
Yeah, I've heard that name. I don't know what his music, but I'm pretty sure I don't want to.
No, you sure don't, buddy.
Don't do it. I'd rather watch a Lifetime marathon than.
Yeah. Oh man, I've got those are my grandfathers, man, and I was sitting around one afternoon, and I don't, sometimes you just think back to the people that have gone before you, and you just kind of reminiscing on them, and I got to thinking about them both. And I said, man, they lived these legendary lives. Like, literally, my grandfather, he was in a coal mine, and the mine collapsed. They took all the dudes out, and they're all dead, and he came back to life. Like, I don't know how that happens, but and then my other grandfather, he was shot off in World War II, and they found him on the ground and kind of sewed half of it back on him, and he lived the rest of his life that way. I get up and go to work, and I come home and I cut the grass, and I worry about bills. I worry about these types of things. I don't have to worry about, am I going to, get shot or die in a coal mine just to provide food for my table. So I got to start thinking about, all that. And it really just, I wanted to paint a picture as an homage to them and say, I didn't get to know either one of them all that well. They died when I was younger. But, the time I did get to spend with them, we didn't get to share those stories. So these are all stories that other people told me. And, my dad's told me, my cousins, my uncles. And it's funny because I put the song out, and I've been tooling around with that thing for a couple of years, and never really let anybody listen to it because I needed that everybody have an opinion, and I just didn't want to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
But I put the song out there, with the facts that I was given. And then I had a couple cousins come back and say, well, Grandpa, he actually made it a year, longer than that in school. He didn't quit when he was 5 years old. I'm like, and they're like, they're ribbing me about it. I'm like, well, man, again, it goes back to that idea that I'm just kind of telling a tale of legends.
Yeah.
And as far as the production on it, I wanted it to be a big in-your-face rock song. It's kind of like I felt like those dudes were. It's like this big in-your-face, larger-than-life kind of people. And but then there's a story behind it, a soft story behind it, and there's one that's endearing and truthful, and that if you really knew what they were thinking, it's probably completely different. And so I wanted that kind of balance and that dichotomy to come across in the song production as well. So that was kind of, I just wanted to hit you in the face right at the top, and with that big riff and rhythm, and then bring it back and let you know that there's something more meaningful here.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Songs like that you come straight from the heart, and songs that have meaning to them. Like we've mentioned it many times. That's why I love guys like Chris Knight, Cody Canada, all these real songwriters that mean something when they write songs. It's not just a party all the time. And that's what we're trying to do on this show is, like I talked to you on the phone earlier, you're trying to, you're working your way up, and we're trying to do this for fun basically, but what we like to do is showcase guys like you and Justin Wells and Josh Morningstar that are busting their ass to make it. And if we get, some new listeners that are your fans from this, so be it. Our goal more so,
is to get you some new fans from our listeners.
Because if the more people that know real music, then I feel a hell of a whole lot better about it. Because I know when Justin came on and Josh came on, there's a lot of people that never heard their names, and they were like, "Man, that's some good shit right there. That's good, great music. It's real music, and that's what we like to promote here, and that's why you're on, for the most part."
Oh man, I appreciate it. Yeah, you referenced Chris Knight. His songs, like that guy writes real songs.
Oh yeah,
and I'd say that's probably had as much of an influence on my last, 6-8 years in songwriting as anything. It's just he's talking about life, and not in any.
He's got a song that references.
Just like, hey,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What's that?
I said he had a song I said he had a song that references Mountain Dew and Little Debbie's. How much more real do you get than that?
and it not feel corny,
Yeah, exactly.
It feels real, man. I started learning a few of the songs a while back because I was just like, God, these are awesome. I want to play one of these every once in a while. I never really got out and played them, but I started to learn them. I was like, man, these are. Even his songwriting, like just the way he approached crafting the song, is unique and awesome to me. And Back Down the River.
Yeah.
Good God, that song is like.
This is the exact song I was about to reference.
Man, I'll tell you what, seeing them play that live, and his band, man, they're phenomenal. They're just cooking solid dudes. And I actually referenced that live show that I saw when I was making Dixie Electric Company with my band. I was like, here's what happened. This band was just sizzling on stage. They had so much restraint. They played the song so slow, but it was so melodic and powerful. And that's what I wanted to have come across when we were going after some of the slower tunes on my record. And I feel comfortable we did that. But I still look back at that show. I saw him at Smith's Old Bar here in Atlanta, and it's just like those dudes owned my world that night. It was unbelievable.
When I saw him at Barley's Tap Room, the show I was talking to you about earlier, he played Down the River, and it was funny because I just listened to Down the River literally 5 minutes before I pulled in this driveway. It was on my phone. He said, I sent this into my record company for my Christmas song, and they rejected it. It was Down the River. Yeah, of course he was sure he was just kidding, but you think you've been in a dark place. Where you got to get to a point where you're talking about your brother dying and you putting a bullet in somebody's head, and the cousin better hide because he's about to go back down the river. It's just where does that come from, man? It's just I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, well, that's old time justice, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way they do it out in the woods.
Yeah. Well,
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a couple things you got coming out in the coming year here, and I also saw that you had South by Southwest booked on March 13th in Austin, Texas. What else you got coming up in 2017?
Man, the funny thing is I haven't booked a whole lot. We got real lucky and got asked to play a gig at South by and a few nights up in Aspen, Colorado. So I don't know if we'll do those on the same run together or break them up, but we're definitely going to head out that way. We'll be doing some more Southeast stuff. I'm going to try to branch out a little further and get up a little more Midwest. Unfortunately, I just don't have anything nailed down right now. I think actually we just booked a show here in Atlanta with Matt Woods for March 9th. So it'll be the night before we leave to go to South by. So that'll be happening, which is cool. And Matt's one of my good buddies. Like I said earlier, I met through playing these songs, and he's kind of been a Sherpa for me and all this stuff. Him and Justin both kind of helped guide me down the road a little bit, and we've gone and played shows together, and I've learned a lot from both. They're both phenomenal musicians and performers in their own right, and I'm real excited anytime I get a chance to play with either one of those dudes. So if y'all are around, you should definitely come check it out.
And that's I guess, and I guess that's where I saw your name at initially, because I remember Justin plugging those shows with Matt Woods and seeing your name on the bill. And I tell you where you need to come play if there's any way possible. Atlanta's within our wheelhouse there, but man, I with your style and your music, you'd be a perfect fit for the Shed up in Maryville, the Harley shop up there. I mean, that's right in your that's right in your sound, brother.
That's what someone else has told us that. And the funny thing is, we played a couple times at the Sugarlands Distillery in Gatlinburg the last couple of years, and the sound guy there, his name's Dylan. He left to go be the sound guy over at the Shed. We've been talking, and he's trying to help us get in over there too. So yeah, put in the kind word for us, man.
Well, actually,
to do it.
What's crazy is the owner is he's just from actually down the road from us. Originally, he was from Baxter, which is a town about 40 minutes from us, and he actually owns the shop. And I've met him a few times, and my buddy lives in Maryville. He's actually a mechanic there, so I could probably get the ball rolling if you're interested.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm up for anything. I prefer to tour with my band. And these guys, I mean, they're the best dudes on the planet. And, I mean, they're the best musicians and best people. And getting to make music on a stage with them on any given night is just like magic. And we all have such a good time. So I prefer around playing these songs with the band. I think the songs get presented, the best they can. But I certainly go do a lot of solo stuff too. I just, sometimes I get a little burnt out of doing that just because I miss the power that these songs have when you've got this full band behind you doing it. So
absolutely,
but it is sometimes fun to go do some solo stuff too. So
they do a summer schedule in the last 3 years. Just throw some names at you in the last 3 years: Isbell, Simpson, Stapleton, Shooter, Drive-By Truckers, Blackberry Smoke, Kentucky Headhunters are in that mix. The who's who of that style of music, man.
Well, I'd certainly love to think that we can play up there and
I think
do a good job for them too.
Oh yeah. Well, go ahead and plug your social media for us. Where can everybody find you out there?
Man, well, our website is, you can go to downheartedfools.com, the name of our record. You can go to Bandcamp, thegrange.bandcamp.com. You can we got vinyl coming out soon. You can buy it there even. And then, we're on iTunes, we're on Amazon and all of those places. And those are the two main places I try to point people to. Of course, we're on Facebook, man. If you like the music, follow us, be our friends, tell your friends. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. It's all one variation or another of Chris Stalcup and the Grange, and that's STALCUP.
Of course, you already retweeted my first post there about that, but what we'll do after the show records tonight, then we'll go through our edit process or whatever. Then once it's posted, I'll link it back to you. You can retweet it for all your followers, so they'll have a easier way to check it out and everything. So,
and if you're good with it, we're going to go ahead and after we get off the phone here, we're going to play Downhearted Fools for everybody.
Oh, absolutely, man. Let it rip. That sounds awesome.
Very good. Well, man, great interview. I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. I hope everything keeps going your direction, man. It sounds like it's working out for you right now, and we hope it continues for you.
Yeah, man.
Good deal.
Well, man, guys, you guys are awesome. I greatly appreciate it. I hope we get to cross paths in person here before too long.
Yeah, man, me too. If you make it to Tennessee, I'll for sure come check you out, and hopefully we get to down in Georgia check you out too, man.
Absolutely, man. All right, well, guys, thank y'all. Stay safe out there. I've got about an inch of snow on the ground, it looks like.
Yeah, if you're like us, as soon as we see snow up here, we forget how to drive in Tennessee because we don't get it much.
Yeah.
Hey, and I told you when I was going to have a little longer trip home. I live on basically a mountain, and I sold my truck like an idiot. I sold my 4-wheel drive truck 2 weeks ago, right before winter gets here.
Oh.
Yeah, a truck.
And now the snow's here.
Yeah, and I drove my wife's little family ride, and like I said, I live on a mountain. I seen a girl the other day. She brought it's a family friend of ours we babysit for sometimes when we're off. And she came up to me last night at my junior pro basketball practice, and she was smiling. I said, "Don't even come here smiling if you rutted up my damn driveway the other day. It's like a freaking amusement park now. You can't drive for nothing." So I knew in this damn vehicle, I tried to go up it, and it was just full of snow, and it took me 4 times. I'm cussing the vehicle, I'm cussing the hill, I'm cussing my daddy for building a house on top of a hill when we've got hundreds of acres on this farm. I called my driveway in this vehicle words I can't repeat on the show. I was pissed. I was just trying to be a good husband, take my wife some food before I come podcast, and I about got stuck on the damn driveway.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, well, I tell you, you said that when the snow comes there, if I lose his mind, I drive and down here in Georgia, man, if it's a rain or a drop of rain falls out of the sky, it happens. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for that meltdown. That's just the first time I thought about it. When you mentioned the snow again, I got pissed off all over again.
Oh no, that's sorry, brother.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate your time tonight, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, Chris.
You're doing what you're doing.
Thank
All
you.
right. Take care.
See you, man.
Well, I ain't like all the mother boys. I ain't here to steer you wrong. These nights are too damn long, and I don't want to waste another day like all the mother boys. Wishing that they had a girl like you, hoping that they might know what to do if you were to look their way. Well, Carrie says we ain't nothing but downhearted fools on the wrong side of town here with nothing left to lose. Well, I ain't writing these songs for no one else but me and you. 'Cause I ain't like all the mother boys. I ain't got a damn thing left to prove. I've been running down the long side of 22, and I can light a fire down in your heart like none of them other boys. Oh, they're not gonna know what to do with you. They're not gonna know what you've been through. They're not gonna know how to win your heart. Oh, Carrie says we ain't nothing but downhearted fools on the wrong side of town here with nothing left to lose. Well, I ain't writing these songs for no one else but me and you. Me and you. Carrie says we ain't nothing but downhearted fools on the wrong side of town here with nothing left to lose. Well, I ain't writing these songs for no one else but me and you. Well, Carrie says we ain't nothing but downhearted fools on the wrong the mother boys. No, I ain't like all the mother boys. I ain't like all the mother boys. No, I ain't like all the mother boys.
All right, man, that was a good interview, Chris Stalcup. I'm glad we looked up on that one.
Great interview and a great song, man. I hope everybody enjoys that song and goes out there and buys that CD. You can get it on iTunes. It's just like $9.90. It was less than $1 a song, man. It was fantastic, whole CD.
9 more just like it, man. So
Yeah.
I had a good feeling about that after I called him today because, you know, unlike some of the other artists and other athletes that we've had on, you know, we hadn't had the pleasure of meeting Chris. Yeah. So I kind of just want to get a feel of where he was at, what do you want to talk about, what he didn't want to talk about. And, man, after we talked for like, 10, 15 minutes going down the road.
Yeah.
I thought, man, I felt really good. So he didn't disappoint for sure. And I hope that, you know, I hope
that he gets a couple of new fans out of this, and because he's just a great songwriter doing that grassroots thing. And so I hope it all goes well here.
And let me look him up. He didn't really give his Twitter handle. I know sometimes it could be trickier than it should be to get on there, but
I think it's at Chris Stalcup with the Grange.
Yeah, at Stalcup Grange is what you can find him at.
At Stalcup Grange.
At Stalcup Grange. Any of you guys that may be listening to us through Chris, you can find us on Twitter at OLR Podcast. And also my personal page is DRE Kennedy _83, and Lucas is LG Hickman 21. You know, give us a cheap little plug there in the process, but we'd love to have you guys jump on, subscribe to us on iTunes. Stitcher, we're on YouTube, also the link.
A little bit of everywhere.
So
great interview.
There's more to come, man. We got many pretty exciting young and up and coming musicians, some established musicians coming on. I just can't wait to kind of get into it and start letting everybody know what's going on here in the new year.
Yeah. In other news, we've moved Bradley Reed from the wall to a chair in front of a microphone. Get up here and talk to us, Bradley.
Hello.
Hello, there's Bradley.
Brad Craighead, the man that raised me. That's what his claim.
And a shit job you did on it, Bradley.
I failed terribly.
Brad always like, I raised that right there. I raised that, and you suck.
I do suck at raising that.
Youngins, this right here.
I hope Kel and Kylie end up a lot better than I turned out.
Well,
I'm trying.
You got it out of your system one time how not to do it, and you're going to get it right the next 2 times, right?
You learn from your mistakes.
That's right.
I'm glad I could be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
We grew up together, man. Basically, we did some stupid things throughout our young lives together. Now when we visit with one another, it's got to be like supervised visits.
One of the wives has to be there.
Yeah.
We got a curfew again.
Yeah, Lindsay's saying you better be here at 11. I guarantee you better be here at 11.
We broke it once and it didn't turn that way.
Once as in like 48 times.
Yeah.
But once only with them, I think. Once or twice with them, maybe. As in the words of the great American philosopher, Notorious B.I.G., we grew up a screw up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's fun though.
Can I tell a story about your old Bronco and up there in Cookville? We was Brad came up to Cookville on one Thursday night that we should have been studying and wasn't, and got down in the grass down at the end of our apartments on West 3rd Street and cut a half donut and slung the big old tire, slung mud everywhere, had grass up the side of the building and everything else, and the cops showed up and said, you know anybody that's in the National Guard that drives this Bronco down here? And I said, no. And then Brad come to the door, and he said, how can I help you, officer? Officer said, we're looking for the person in the National Guard that drives this Bronco. You turned straight around and said, I don't know who drives that. I don't know whose car that is.
Next morning, I got the hell out of there.
Yes, you did.
Hey, I thought about turning him in because they end up offering $100 reward on you if you turned him in.
Yeah, in college, would have been worth it almost.
Been worth that.
It was a pretty interesting ride on the way home, too.
Yeah.
What happened?
I feel like somebody fell out of the back of the Bronco on the way home.
We throwed the keg in the back of the Bronco, me and AJ.
Yeah.
And
let's not say the other one, yeah.
And, we was going down the
Greensburg grade,
yeah. And they don't tell how many times he about fell out drinking out the keg
with the no top on the Bronco.
No top
at all in the Bronco.
Going out through there, him standing up.
Yeah.
drinking out of the keg, hollering.
About 8
It's
o'clock.
probably 8 o'clock in the morning.
Why does or why would anybody want to party? Was his trademark at the time.
Yeah.
He goes, there's that one guy, he says, I got an interesting question. He said, I want to know, why does or why would anybody want to party? And he went up through Patty's one night asking that question to everybody. And he was like, I got to quit this shit. He's like, people's crying on me, getting emotional, telling me why they quit drinking, why they party. He's like, shit, I don't want to. He's ain't trying to get serious with this, you know.
He slept for half a day. Once we got home that morning,
Because he had a concussion.
he slept for half a day in the back seat of that Bronco and the sun beaming down on him.
I can't believe Brent Duffer do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a real piece of work.
I'll tell you the good about Brad. When we was in high school, me and Jeremy and Brad, we went to Old Charlie's to, we went to Cookville, Dick off, and we went to Old Charlie's. Well, you know how you got the little peppermint trays at the end?
Yeah.
Hell, I grabbed one, Jeremy grabbed one, Brad took the bowl, took it to the car. We went through a roadblock on the grade. I'm sitting in the front with Jeremy. Brad's in the back. You boys been drinking? I said, first off, oh shit, he's gonna get us for that stolen peppermint jar.
Yeah, that's what he was going to be worried about.
And then he said, you boys been drinking? Jeremy said, no, me, no. Brad said, hey, I'm trying to quit.
What man, no white sunbird?
Yeah. Whatever.
Whatever it was he drove.
I remember one time I was coming home from St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah?
I was coming into Clay County or something, and
You Irish?
no,
Yeah.
I was coming into. We were doing something for it. That's when we were still young and celebrated stuff like that, right?
Uh-huh.
And I said, Brad, man, I said, hell, I plan on having me a beer, but I said, I'm kind of scared to drink since it's St. Patrick's Day. He went, what? What are they going to do? Just pull you over, see if you're wearing green? You probably don't remember that. For some reason, I remember that just right now. What they gonna do?
I remember being in 8th grade, and the very first time that I ever got to play basketball on the court with you guys when y'all are older, I was guarding you. You come down in the post, and you stuck the ball between your legs and threw your hands up, and I turned around and walked off trying to figure out where the ball went. Donnie Cherry went, Lucas, on the bench. And I was like, oh, man. Brad got me.
It works on some people.
Yeah.
Some people it don't.
If you got a low IQ like I got, it'll get you every time.
Who's a better ball player, you or AJ?
It depends on who you're asking. If you
I'm
ask,
asking Brad.
if you ask AJ, AJ.
Probably AJ. He give a shit. I didn't.
I've told
Really?
people that 100 times that you were just as good as AJ.
I enjoyed playing, but I mean, I really didn't care a lot about it.
You didn't dribble down the road from your house to the school trying to learn how to dribble better?
No.
No.
I'd ride.
Yeah.
Take a ride.
Yeah, right over.
AJ's all-time leading scorer, Herman Springs history. Do you wish if you cared at all, do you wish you had a trophy case?
No. No. He's got it. He needed it.
He deserved it, really.
He deserved it.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
He's
Who
a hell of a
passed
lot-
him the
he's
ball?
a hell of a lot better ball player than
Who passed him the ball?
I did in 95.
Here to shoot it, little brother.
Yeah.
Remember at one-
I mean, it didn't matter. He's going to shoot it anyway. Sorry, AJ. Sorry.
Only person in Herman Springs steal the ball from his team so he can shoot it.
Yeah.
Remember that time I had that bad alpha comedy and said, AJ Craig, all-time leading scorer in Herman Springs history. We'd always say, AJ, how many assists you have? Assist? I had an assist, but I got one time I cut that son bitch out. Thought it was cancerous. Don't pass that ball.
Yeah.
Assist.
No, AJ's pretty tough.
Yeah.
I mean, to be as short as he was,
Yeah.
AJ's tough with that left hand now.
Yeah.
That left will get you a lot of advantages, you know.
Yeah.
He give Monterey the business down at home that one night. What did he have, 43, 45?
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever he had 43 and Gallagher had 45 or vice versa.
Yeah.
Gallagher had it up there.
Oh, you should have seen this when we played down there at Nashville.
Yeah.
Them Hoop It Up tournament.
You and AJ.
Me and AJ, Gallagher,
And Jeremy.
and Jeremy. Yeah. It's fun. Hey, we won it one year.
Yeah.
Really?
3-on-3, Hoop It Up.
You boys are
Downtown
ballers
Nashville.
now.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
And what about when you get Gallagher down here? ain't nobody in the Herman Springs tournament or 3-on-3 tournament past 6'1". Gallagher 6'7". He's wanting to shoot threes like he's Reggie Miller.
Yeah, I know. He can jump out of the gym. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
does
supposed to shoot it from half court line.
Then the next time they had a 3-on-3 tournament, I had you guys, and somebody didn't care to get out of bed and come play with me that morning.
Somebody,
that?
did you forget?
What? Nobody told me.
And I don't know. Play ball with your best friend or hang out with Patty and Barry all night. Just whatever.
Hey. You got to associate people.
Yeah.
It was kind of like I kind of held you responsible, kind of like the Cowboy Way when Woody Harrelson missed the
It's Pepper Lewis.
Pepper. I know.
Pepper.
I couldn't remember. It's been so long.
It's Pepper.
Well, Brad, I got a question for you. What kind of boots are you wearing?
I am wearing Eric boots right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what kind of boots I got on?
I'm guessing some kind of cool.
They're Ariats. They're Ariats too.
What do you got on, Dustin?
By God, let me take them off and I'll show you.
No, don't take them off.
Yeah.
They look better on you, bud.
Yeah.
You and your skinny jeans.
Yeah.
If anybody could see his
These are
damn shoes right now.
I'll tweet them.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I
gonna
think
tweet
I don't even
Brad's
know.
already
I
got-
don't even know what tweet is.
Brad's already got a
Tweet
picture
these
of them.
nuts.
Let me have these. These are some brown loafers
Nunbush.
by Nunbush. This is probably the second ugliest shoe I've ever seen in my life.
It looks like something you'd wear.
Nunbush.
It looks like something that Mr. Roy
Hey.
would wear in fifth,
Nun-
sixth grade.
Hey,
and
You got a new job.
Nunbush, maybe it should be described for y'all because you ain't wearing cool shoes like this. You ain't gonna get Nunbush because you ain't wearing no cool slides like these, boys.
he bought those at Mr. Roy's.
Yeah.
If anybody knows Mr. Roy, he bought those at Mr. Roy Henson's yard sale. Yeah. And he's got them on with blue jeans and he'd look just like us if he had on regular breeches.
Yeah.
Or regular.
I got jeans,
Jeans.
plaid shirt.
But he's got on.
He's got on the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life, and he's ruined them today.
And
Because they got wet in the damn
and he
snow.
went to the Dirty Burger with them on.
Oh God! Did you
In
really?
front of everybody.
I mean, it was Peanut.
Everybody's
You
saying-
think Peanut's gonna judge me
I
with
bet he
his?
liked
Hey,
them.
there was a family of 4 there.
And they're probably gonna buy some Nunbush tomorrow.
Yeah.
Doubt it.
I'm gonna tell you
Doubt
what
it.
Ric Flair says. My shoes cost more than your house. Woo!
You know, I guarantee you that's not the case because I ain't ever even heard of some Nunbush. I bet it wouldn't cost you $13.50 at
They're 70 bones.
Pogo.
Like Mackie
You give
says.
$70 for them.
God
You
damn.
give $70 for them.
Man, look how good I look.
You don't.
I'm tweeting these.
Yeah.
I'm tweeting them.
No,
right now.
I already took a picture of them, sent them to everybody.
Did you really?
Yeah, he
Yes,
did.
While you was on the other thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
some people was blessed with
With good shoe sense and it missed you.
look, man, I got some Nikes at home.
Uh-huh.
I got some Nikes. I got some cowboy boots. I got them slip-on house shoe slippers are cool.
See, he calls them cowboy boots. We
Uh-huh.
call them work boots.
Work boots. That's
I
right.
don't
I
work in 'em.
hope you slip on the back porch whenever you walk out and everything.
I about damn.
He probably asked me to carry him.
Carry me.
I look like-
Bradley,
So they
carry
don't
me.
get wet.
Carry
you
me
know.
back in the truck. I've
I
already
about-
ruined them
Are
once.
they
Well,
suede? Are
yeah.
they suede?
I don't know. I'm about to get some alligators and some snakeskin boots.
Uh-huh.
I about looked like Joe Pesci in Home Alone come down these steps a while ago. Like
yeah.
a damn kid put some honey out or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it's
I'm gonna
called.
put some tar and nails on that thing going out. To make,
Look, man.
Did he call it honey?
yeah.
Look, I don't watch Home Alone anymore. How do you know he didn't put honey in it somewhere?
I didn't. I wasn't there. But it didn't look like honey. He's blacker.
look like it.
He's blacker than shit.
Yeah.
What? Is that the one particular scene? Like there wasn't 50 scenes of him falling during slippery stuff?
That's the only one that I know of.
Okay. Well, you need to rewatch Home Alone then. How do you know?
Oh, wait a minute. You talking about slippery? Oh, no, that's ice.
That's ice on the front
He
porch.
run the water hose down the basement steps.
Look, you know what? I watched real movies like Kazam when I was growing up.
Oh,
I ain't
yeah.
got-
Because it has Shaq in it.
Yeah.
Oh, did it? I forgot who the
he
star
was
in that movie was.
Bumping Shaq Fu whenever he come in the
Yeah.
driveway a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, if I was, I was.
Yeah, Chris Knight, no.
Boys, it takes hard. Like they say in
Oh, yeah, you got Han, you got Korean Han now?
no, like they say on White Man Can't Jump. It takes hard. It's
Oh,
hard.
hard.
Hard got work to look this good.
Beep.
Yeah, hard got work to look this good. Don't get mad. You boys can't wear Nunbush.
Yeah.
Nunbush.
Yeah, you can have them.
Whatever, boys.
Yeah. Got this new position, got some new shoes to go with it. Didn't
Shit, I combed my hair over a couple times this
seen
week.
that.
care.
You serious?
Yeah.
He can't say nothing. When he first got his job, he come in here looking like Sam Hunt.
No, I had that job for a year and a half.
You had that shaved up head style.
I had that job for a year and a half before I got that. I just got a big head and I started losing my hair out here. And I thought, I'm tired of hiding it. I'm just going to show it to everybody. Bradley pulls his head off.
Holy hell.
Where'd it go?
What about that?
It's struggling.
It is.
It's
It's been struggling for years.
Yeah. At least now, never mind. Who looks more like who? And I've said this for like 12 years running. Not with the Grizzly Adams did have a beard look that he's got, but does Brad Craighead look more like Martin Lawrence or does AJ look like Derek Fisher? Damn.
I've got to go Brad and Martin Lawrence.
I think AJ looks more like Derek Fisher because you had the short, stocky, left-handed point guard, big-ass lips.
If your ears would stick out farther, you'd look just like Martin Lawrence.
Oh,
I mean,
that's the first time Brad's never heard that.
I think you're both racist. I mean, really? I mean, is this a racist joke or something?
Because everything's racist in America now, so it makes sense that that'd be racist.
That's hilarious.
The only reason his ears, like I've heard more ear jokes than have head jokes about you.
What
So
about
just
him?
because his boggin's tucking them down right
I mean,
now,
I don't know. I mean,
like the damn Keeler elf.
I doubt there's
I
been
thought
more.
I grew into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I doubt there's
Nobody's
been.
telling me these days.
I would say I doubt there's been more ear jokes to Bradley than there has been big head jokes to me because I still get them.
But AJ, he's been slick-headed for
a while.
But does he not look just like Derek Fisher?
Yeah.
Give me one. Damn, Gina.
I can't do it.
Damn.
Gina.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what else is going on?
Nothing else in the Bradley world.
I don't know.
Can you believe we just celebrated New Year's together, like we always have, sitting around the house playing Rook and Speak Out with kids all over us?
Ever since I've had a kid, I've
Said at the house.
I've never been to a party.
I've never
I used to do it real bad.
Yeah.
on Tuesday. Tell us what you did on New Year's.
Oh,
Yeah.
struggling.
No, I'm just saying, like, that was a normal, like, every day was a normal, holy hell, Brad caught one, but, like, on New Year's, took it at another level.
Oh yeah, I mean,
no.
I've never really been much of a New Year's. It's just hell.
Look, that game, y'all, that was funny.
We played that one game with Speak Out where you put the thing in your mouth, that little, what do you call them, just a little.
Fake teeth.
It
No.
opens your mouth. It's like it opens your jaws up.
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
You're just showing your teeth.
you're talking here.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
And me and Brad were,
I drew a card that I couldn't say it for shit.
you know what pisses
And I
me
got
off?
so damn tickled at myself.
Yeah. Trying to say it.
Hell, I was crying.
I got a video on my phone of it. You know what's frustrating? You know, we were on teams, and Brad and Becky, or Becky and Lindsay was on teams, and we would get like Farmer Tommy butchered a cow in the sandwich shop Wednesday. It was
Yeah.
like a paragraph that didn't make a lick of damn sense. They'd get Mamma Mia,
Oh yeah, it was
Powder Puffer.
Somebody sets the deck.
Yeah.
Somebody sets the deck.
Yeah.
We beat them in Rook, so they had to.
Yeah.
Had to win something.
It's pretty funny, y'all.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Remember that one video Becky had of me, and I was trying to talk about that time my piece fell out of my mouth and it went and knocked that beer can over, or that Coke can, whatever was sitting there.
Yeah.
That's just perfect timing on her part. So what are you doing tomorrow?
Shit, I ain't doing nothing tomorrow. Parlay around.
Yeah.
Got Monster Jam tickets.
Monster Jam tomorrow
Taking the
night.
kids to Monster Jam. I don't know who's more excited, me or them.
Oh yeah. Is this your first Monster Jam experience?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You're a monster truck fan.
Well, I was
Just a
when I was 7.
Redneck, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I still am.
Yeah.
And I had a Bigfoot shirt when I was 7. If I could find it, I'd probably wear
Wear
it.
that, dude. Yeah. So what are you a bigger fan of, monster trucks or NASCAR?
NASCAR.
NASCAR.
Really bad.
Yeah. You're eat up with redneck.
I
ain't
made up. With it. I sit and watch every lap.
you? Yeah.
I go to the races.
Oh, good.
But what have you never done that I've done?
There's a
We don't
list.
know.
There's a list of things right there.
Well, I
We
doubt
don't-
that.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite NASCAR driver currently?
It would be the 88 Dale Jr.
Little Dale, huh?
And
Have you ever went to on Twitter or Facebook to figure out where he's going to be, and then flew to that place just to talk to him?
no, but apparently he has because
That's stupid. First off, I've never been on an airplane.
Oh, okay.
well,
so drove to the place.
anyways, DK has been to one race.
Uh huh.
2.
2 races.
Suck it. Yeah, I went to Talladega.
You went to Talladega? Well, who?
My grandpa.
I don't count.
Bar-
Did you
Bar-
party?
Barry Kennedy's
Did
forgot.
you party?
Barry Kennedy's forgot more about partying than me and you ever know. That's saying
Well,
something.
anyways, did you party?
A little bit, not much.
Where'd you stay?
Hotel.
You didn't go to Talladega.
Yeah. You're going to have
You didn't go to the campground.
I know. I'm pretty pissed off about it.
Yeah, well,
But not as pissed off.
anyways.
But not as pissed off at you about me.
Time out.
Don't Zach Morris me. Time out.
yeah, I just did it. This guy,
Uh-huh.
he don't even know who races. I go to every race. He went to Atlanta with us.
Yeah.
AJ's bachelor party.
Yeah.
Which is
Had a
redneck.
ball.
Which is redneck.
Nobody watched. I think there's 3 of us out of 10 or 12.
How bad's that do for redneck that your bachelor party is
Goes
at
to
a
a
racetrack?
NASCAR
First
race.
It was
off,
pretty nice.
but it was a night race, and who
Yeah.
expect anybody to make it through that
Well,
one?
we stayed the whole weekend.
Right.
It's pretty good. But the last night, we got so
Discombobulated, yeah.
yes. The night before, next morning, everybody was so bad.
But we kept.
We had all day
Uh-huh.
to do it again, and
Uh-huh.
then the race was that night.
Oof.
Well, we get to the race. Half of them didn't want to go.
Yeah.
When we got there, half of them was out.
Didn't make it.
They seen the first 3 laps and the last 3 laps.
Slept through the rest of it.
You know how
Yes.
drunk you
Oh.
got to be to pass out with
With 800 horsepower flying around in front of
200
you.
miles an
200
hour?
mile an hour at you.
Yeah.
Well, this guy don't know nothing about racing.
Uh-huh.
He meets Dale Jr. Gets
Really?
his picture took with him,
Uh-huh.
and then sends me a message.
it
And
said sucks to suck.
yeah, well, of course
If there's
I
somebody,
had to hold my tongue.
yeah, if there's somebody famous around, DK's around, they're gonna know each other somehow, and I don't know what it is, and they'll know him next time they see him
Oh,
too.
I'd say I
Yeah.
know what it is.
Hey, but you know what? That was an accident. No kidding.
Oh yeah, he went to the Titans thing,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden heard about the wild horse thing.
Yeah.
And there he was.
Oh yeah, there you was.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm like, hey bud, how about phoning a friend?
Yeah, come down here.
You
Well, I
know,
was
make
there
your favorite
already.
racer?
I was there.
Hey,
Clint said, hey, you stalking? Well, I'll tell you what, these athletes put these weird things on Twitter, which is publicly acknowledged. It says, hey, I'm going to be at the Wild Horse. Come
Why don't you
hang.
come
Come
down-
hang. Take a picture with you if you want. Especially if your best
But-
friend's a NASCAR driver and he'll never get to meet me.
that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Nah, but it was cool. And I was with Jeff Mackey, and he's like, hey, man. He's like, let's go this Titans thing. I don't know. Well, they got a Preds thing. I'm supposed to meet Carlos. I was like, I'll go. And I was like, hey, man. Dale Jr. is going to be at Wild Horse tonight. Like, we're right there in between.
Uh-huh.
So I went and had me a Crown and Coke and waited till his thing was over.
That was probably at 2:30. You could have called me.
You had plenty of time.
No.
You know, I worked down there.
You didn't at the time.
I mean, it's still,
So,
it
like,
don't take long to get there.
we're here to the steps to him. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, we going to go holler at him, Jeff? Nah, bro. I was like, I'm like, there's nobody here. Like, we're on the same, it was on the dance floor at Wild Horse. So it was a short exchange basically because there's, so many people. It's like, hey, man, what's up? That is the one racer I do like. And I was like, hey, man, you here to take a picture? Yeah, man, for sure. Took a picture. And I do know him just because he's Dale Earnhardt's son, and he's
Nah.
just cool. He just looks cool.
He's not. That ain't the reason why I like him. He's just a bad dude.
I think he'd be fun to party with.
Oh, yeah.
He's
That's
got
what
his
I
own
think.
bar.
I know.
Yeah.
Kind of like Domer.
Well, you know what?
Kind of look alike a
If,
little bit.
if that's your characteristics of
Hey,
cool.
bud.
Yeah.
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 I like Domer.
Hey, man, I ain't got nothing to say about him.
I bet Domer's a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's a bar.
You know.
So,
Well,
but no, hey, what's funny about that? What's funny about that racing story? I felt bad that I passed out, right?
mm-hmm.
Until the next, I didn't even know it the next day, but it was a while back. Like, dude, like 5 people passed out. I was like, thank God, I don't look like the one
I wasn't
alcoholic there.
the only guy.
And you know what's really embarrassing on my my part as a fat boy is that like I got up
Oh yeah.
and I was like, damn, I'm hungry. So I went down and got me some chicken strip basket, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there just like
Slowly
slowly eating chicken strips and fries. Then I get done, I was like, damn, I'm
He
still
went
hungry.
for 2.
You
So
went back. Got
I
another
was like, hey guys, I'm going to throw this away. And I was so ashamed
that you was doing it.
I sat on the bench in the concourse. Like you go to a Titans game and there was
Sat
a
outside and
there was a bench on this concourse,
hid that you were still eating.
and I ate a second chicken strip basket.
Out of 10, was it 10 of us?
Me,
There was
you,
3 of us watched the whole race.
Me, you, AJ, Robert.
My uncle Robert didn't even want to go.
And he watched.
He got up that morning,
Cooked.
breakfast, and said, "Boys, I ain't going. I'm going back to bed." We made him go.
Had a blast, didn't he?
Oh well, he was one of them that was.
Out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was a good time, man.
Oh
Good
yeah, it
times.
was big time.
Well, that was a good show.
What? While we're done,
Yeah, I think so, man. We've been getting kind of long. I think we need to cut these little.
I talked
under an hour and a
to
half.
Dr. Cucumber today.
Yeah. What do you say?
I don't know.
Well, good story.
Got a good
That
story
really-
on cucumber.
No, we're not telling it. We're not telling that story, but it is one of my favorite, probably my favorite story of all time to tell when we're not broadcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. No, he just said he'd still like to try to get up with us. He said he don't know about being on the podcast, but he'd like to come see us. And he said his work's busy and everything.
Yeah.
So I wish we could have got Jeremy on here. It's already 10 o'clock their time, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to got his
input on the carpet court class.
Carpet Court Classic. Brad's going up there next time.
Yeah.
Get schooled.
Well, there you go. That's the show for this week.
You sound pretty excited about it.
It was a good one.
Hey guys, that's the show for the week. We just did a killer hour and a half. There's the show for the week.
Yeah.
You
great.
did sound awful down last week at the end of that part of that interview. For you to be so excited, you was awful low. You were so laid back.
I'm a pretty low key, laid back guy. I don't get real excited about things. I generally, my idea is that if you get too excited, things are gonna go south on you. So I don't get real excited.
I'm excited.
Good.
I'm
That
excited
was a great
about this
interview.
show.
Yeah, great interview.
Good interview. Glad to get Brad on. I thought maybe we'd twist his
Coax him
arm a
into
little
it,
bit.
yeah.
So hope you guys enjoy everything we've done. And like I said, we got big news for 2017. Can't wait to share it with you guys.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
See you.